I was hooked, okay? I was hooked. I really did read this book because of the hype. I'm not gonna lie. It was because of the hype, because where do I begin? Where do I begin with this book? Book one, and this is book three. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. How are you all doing? Welcome to today's video. I am so excited for today's video because it has been in the making for quite some time. As you can tell from the title, I am going to be talking about books that I read because of TikTok/booktok. And is TikTok to be trusted or not to be trusted? That is the question, you know? Like Shakespeare would say, to be or not to be, you know? So yeah. Now, there are books in here that I read that I absolutely love, and there are books in here that I'm upset about. You know, I'm upset that I am never going to get back the hours that I spent reading them, and I don't know if I trust TikTok, but anyways, without further ado, let's get on with the video. So I have got the books here. Most of these books are actually borrowed from the library, and some of the books I listened to on Audible, and another book I actually read on my Kindle. So let's start off good. Let's start off with one of my favorite books out of this whole list, and that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Now, this was my first Colleen Hoover book. If you want to see the vlog of me reading this book, please go to my last video that I posted and enjoy yourself. Like, enjoy looking at my face, ugly crying, so embarrassing, but it's now all over the internet, so I've only got myself to blame. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. Like, this book has a special place in my heart. It's definitely one of my favorite books that I have read in 2021. And in my opinion, this book is absolutely not overhyped. Like, it deserves the hype it got. Contemporary romance, although I heard that some people are saying it's more like of women fiction, but in my opinion, I definitely consider it a romance. What I loved about this book was the characters. I feel like Colleen Hoover has a way of writing and sucking you into the characters that you feel like they are actually real people. Like, when I was reading this book, I felt like Lily was a person I could meet, and I could sit down and we could have a conversation about life, about love, about dreams, about just anything in general. Like, I just felt like she was such a real person, and obviously that is all to do with how Colleen Hoover writes. This book is very much a book like that. It shows you that you can follow your dreams as much as it is about a romance, but it's also about finding yourself and standing on your own 2 feet and knowing what you deserve and what you don't deserve. It was just such a fantastic book that I don't think I'm doing it any justice, because I am not very good at explaining books, and I'm not gonna tell you what it's about because I went into it blindly. Is that a word? Like, I didn't know anything about it, and I think that was the best thing for me. Like, I had the best experience reading it because I didn't know anything about it, and I think you should too. But if you're somebody who needs to look up trigger warnings in books, then I would 100% recommend you look up the trigger warnings for this book, because there is trigger warnings in this book. And what I loved about this book is a book that I finished reading and I felt like I learned something, like it taught me something. And these characters stayed with me for days. Even up to now, I still sit there and I think about them. And for me, that's when I know a book is good for me, is when I actually think about the characters after I have read the book. So yeah, this book was definitely a 5 out of 5. Loved this book, loved it. The next book that I'm gonna be talking about is this one. I'm actually not even talking about these books in order at all. Like, I'm just picking up whatever is next. And that is The Cruel Prince. This book was, I don't know how long ago it was very popular on TikTok, But yeah, I got sucked in. I really did get sucked in. I'm not gonna lie, I borrowed it from the library because I got sucked in, okay? This is a YA fantasy, sort of like enemies to lovers. It's fairies, so fairy world. I read fantasy, but I have to say I don't really read a lot of like fairy books, so I'm not very like familiar with fairy books. But I must say that I absolutely loved this book. I was hooked. Okay, I was hooked in the beginning. I was like, sir, I'm not sure about your bullying. Like, so this book is about, it's about a girl who is human, and she has a sister who is half human and half fae. And the dad takes this girl into the fair world, and she's raised over there, but obviously she doesn't have magic, she doesn't have powers, and she always feels out of place and all of this. And then she meets a prince called Carden. Carden, is that his name? Carden, I think that's the name, Carden. And it's really about their story and lots of other characters in there, but it's essentially about that. It's about her sort of like trying to find a place for herself in the fairy world, and Carden just being a really horrible, in the beginning, horrible human being. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not gonna like this character, I'm not gonna support this. I'm like, is this like a sort of like a bully romance? Because I don't really do bully romance. I'm not on board with that. So yeah, but I must say, I read this book on Audible, so I listened to it on Audible, and at the end of book 1, I was hooked, okay? I was hooked. Then I went ahead and looked for the second book, and I listened to that as well. And I had to know how it ends, okay? I just had to know. And I went ahead and I listened to the third book as well. So I binge read this series like no other. And I must say, I loved it, okay? I loved it for what it is. YA, fantasy, fairy, absolutely love it. We all know I love fantasies, I love romance, I love enemies to lovers. It was just right up my street. The only thing I would say that I feel like the ending was a bit rushed in book 3, which I don't actually know. I do have book 3. I lie. This is book 3. Book 1 and this is book 3. I don't have The Wicked King, which is a part, oh God, sorry about that, which is part 2. But yeah, I must say, book 3 was a little bit rushed for me. I just wish we saw more of Jude and Carden. But nevertheless, I still enjoyed it. I still loved it. Book 1 is 5 stars. Book 2 is 5 stars. Book 3, because I just felt like it was rushed. The ending was rushed. I would say it's like 4.5 stars. But definitely on board with this hype of these books because I absolutely loved them. Next book that I'm gonna talk about is this one, We Were Liars. Now, I know that most of you that are watching this video will know that there's no way this book was not on the list, because this book has been on TikTok. Oh my goodness, it's been all over the place, it's been talked about, and I got sucked in, okay? I got sucked into the hype of this book. Now, was I happy reading this book? I'm sorry if this is your favorite book, but this book just didn't do it for me. It really just didn't do it for me. Oh gosh. Where do I begin? Where do I begin with this book? I really wanted to love it. Like, I really wanted to like it. And it just didn't work, okay? This is a book that was putting me into a reading slump. And I was just like, slump, whatever the word is. And it was just like, I was dreading, okay? I was dreading reading this book. That's how bad it was for me. Okay, first of all, let me just read you the back, okay? Let me read you the back, okay? We Are values. We are beautiful and privileged. We are cracked and broken. A tale of love and romance, a tale of tragedy. Which are lies, which is truth? You decide. Okay? So it's a thriller, it's a YA. It is a book about these privileged young people. I didn't care about the character. That's what it comes down to, okay? I didn't care. I was like, what? These are rich people's problems. These are just problems that I'm just like, I don't care. And it's not because it's a YA or it's for young people, no. Because I have read a lot of young people books, like a lot of YA books, and I enjoy them. And I give them 5 stars if they're 5 stars. If they're 4 stars, I give them 4 stars. I mean, in my opinion. But with this book, it just didn't work. I just didn't care about the characters. Like, I didn't care. And that really pissed me off because I was like, why am I not caring? Like, what am I missing? Like, why is this book so hyped? Like, what is it that I am missing? And I honestly didn't care. I didn't care. I even went and I looked up review to see what people were saying. And everybody kept on saying, the people that were saying that it's a 5-star or 4 stars, they were like, continue reading, because the twist is amazing. So then I continued reading because of the twist, and also because I was planning to do this video and I didn't want to come on here and bash a book that I didn't finish. So I continued reading and I started reading it physically, but because I couldn't pick it up anymore, I had to go on Audible and listen to it and fast, whatever, you know what I mean. So I had to do that. Because I just couldn't. I didn't care. I'm so sorry. I waited for the twist at the end. Like, throughout the whole book, this was a 1 star for me. That's how bad it was for me. It was a 1 star. And then when the twist happened, I was like, okay, it's a 2 star. That's all. It's a 2 star. Like, I couldn't care less about the characters. Like, I was just like, I don't care. I'm sorry. That's it. The next book that I'm going to talk about is a book that I don't have on me physically, and that is The Spanish Love Deception. So this book was very, very hyped as well, like it was talked about, and everybody kept on comparing it to The Hating Game. Let me just talk about The Spanish Love Deception on its own. Let me not compare it to The Hating Game, because I think that's not really right. The thing with the Spanish Love Deception, I have to say, you have to go into it like knowing it is a slow burn. Okay? That book is a slow burn. Luckily for me, I love slow burns. Like, I don't mind slow burns. I love Maria Mazapata's books. Now, The Spanish Love Deception, definitely loved it. Definitely love the slow burn. I do, though, however, think it could have been shorter. Like, it didn't need to be that long. It just didn't need to be. You know, I understand the slow burn. I get it. Now, when I say slow burn, I mean like you're 300 pages in and the couple hasn't even kissed. Okay? So if you're going to read it, just go in knowing that. All right? I love the characters. I'm going to say right now, okay? Is it Aaron or Aaron? Like, he's one of the most precious book boyfriends that I've ever read. Like, when I was reading The Spanish Love Deception, I was like, oh my God, where are these men in real life? Like, where the hell are they? You know, I look around and I don't see them. I don't see these men, okay? I don't see them. But oh my God, this guy, he's literally one of my favorite book boyfriends. And for that, I give this book a 4.5 stars. I take away the half because I think it just didn't need to be that long. It really didn't. And also, Catalina, is that her name? Is that how you pronounce her name? Our heroine. She's crazy. She's a crazy woman. Like, there was no need for her to hold this grudge of what Aaron said in the beginning about him hating her or whatever. I just felt like this enemies thing was really unnecessary. Like, it was sort of like a miscommunication. I was just like, is this necessary? But you know, it was necessary to carry on the story. But regardless, I enjoyed myself reading it. I loved it. It's definitely 4.5 stars from me. And then the next book that I'm going to talk about, which is hyped and hyped, not only on TikTok, but also on YouTube, I think. And that book is The Midnight Library. I really did read this book because of the hype. I'm not gonna lie. It was because of the hype, because I kept on hearing people saying that it was life-changing. It was one of the best books I read in 2021. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump on that. I'm gonna jump on it, you know? And I did. And I picked it up and I borrowed it from the library. I don't own this book. And I read it. Okay, I read it. Again, I'm sorry if this book was your favorite book and it was life-changing and all of this, amazing for you. For me, okay, yeah, no, it wasn't life-changing. I didn't care, okay? I didn't care. By the way, this book, I have to say, this book is like trigger warnings for suicide, okay? It's trigger warning for suicide, and I have to say that now, so anybody watching this video doesn't just go and pick it up if that's a trigger warning for you. This book deals heavily with suicide, with death, with all of that. Those are all things that I didn't know going into this book. Like, I didn't know. And, you know, that is maybe my fault. I should have done my own research. It wasn't life-changing for me. Not at all. Not at all. This was another one that I struggled to finish. I'm not gonna lie. And it's a short book. Again, I started reading this book physically, and I just couldn't pick it up anymore. It just didn't call my name. It didn't call my name to come and finish it. It just really didn't, you know? It wasn't even downstairs because I live in a flat. Like, it was not calling my name, okay? It was far away from me. It was in Glasgow and I was in London. That's how far apart me and this book were. Similar to We Were Liars, okay? These two books, but again, I didn't want to DNF it because I'm doing a video and I wanted to be true to you guys and be like, I did read it, I did finish it, and this is what I think. I don't know what I'm missing, you know. If anybody's watching this and you loved this book and you loved We Were Liars, please comment down below and like, let's have a discussion about it, because I really want to know. Maybe I'm missing something, I don't know, but I just didn't really, I finished this book and it went out of my mind. Just like We Were Liars. Like, it went out of my mind. I even forgot the character's name. What's her name? Nora. Like, I just didn't care. I didn't care. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know what I felt. I just felt like this book was very repetitive. Very repetitive. And I understand the idea. Don't get me wrong. I understand the idea and I get what the author is saying. That, you know, sometimes maybe we just need to look at life differently. Maybe... Like I get it. I actually even cared about the librarian more than the main character. I just found the main character, like the beginning I cared a little bit in the beginning, you know, before this is not a spoiler, before, you know, she attempted to take her life. I cared a little bit about that, and I was like, oh, this is really... But then when she went into the library and she went to all these different lives and all of these different things, I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Somebody help. But I didn't care about this book. I don't know why. I don't know what was missing for me. And I'm sad about it, actually. I'm really sad about it. For me, this book was like a 2.5 stars. I don't know, you know, 2.5 stars, 3 stars, because I get why people love it. I get why they say it's life-changing. I get it. I just didn't connect with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually sad about this book that I don't know, because I was like looking forward to it and I was expecting it to be a 5-star, and it was just not. It was just not. And the final book that I read was The Deal, and this book is part of a series. I haven't read the rest of the books in the series, but I definitely will. This is off campus. Anyways, but basically, I read The Deal, okay? I bought into the hype and I read the deal. But I love the deal. I actually love this book. I really, really enjoyed myself reading this book. This book we follow, our main characters are both in, it's American, are they both in like college or something like that? I think they're in college or high school, I don't know, in American schools terms. But and the guy is on like a hockey team, and he's failing his classes, so he strikes up a deal with this girl to help him pass his class so he can continue playing hockey. And that's how like the sort of start, and that's how like sort of the romance starts. But this book, I went in it thinking like it's just cute and it's just, you know, gonna be like, oh, you know, on the surface level. But let me tell you, there is trigger warnings in this book, and I think that's why I actually ended up liking it, because I really do love books that I read and I learn something. And there was definitely trigger warnings, so if you're gonna read it, look up those trigger warnings. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book and I loved it. I will say though, this book is, please read it if you're like over 18, not under 18, because although it sounds like it's cute and it looks cute, it's definitely a little bit spicy, so go in it knowing what you're going into. Yeah, so just be aware. Those are all the books that I read for this video. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below and let me know if any of the books I mentioned you have read, and let me know if you loved them. And do you agree with my rating? What do you think? But thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a like so that I know you liked it, and it's free and it massively helps out my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because that again helps me out. And please leave me a comment so we can have a chat, and I'll see you all in my next video. Lots of love.